Want to show a little bit of what I'm doing here, setting me up a bee yard. I say bee yard, right now it's just a couple of hives, but I'm at the bottom of this steep hill right here. I'm looking exactly south. There's a little branch right down there. Holler going down through there. And it's a field right here, and right there's a power line stuff, and a little bit of a hill right there, not as steep as over here. But if you look here, let me just show what I got. We're just doing 2 hives right now, just 2 stands, because we're getting packages and they said to order 2, and I've went with 1 before and just split them and stuff, and that actually happened because I had bees and then I ordered 1 package and then my bees died before the package got there. We're building a fence around it. There's the electric fence panel thing, and gonna build a fence around here. Anyway, like I said, it's a good spot for the water and the field and everything, but the reason the entrance is not facing toward the field is that the entrance is facing pretty much south right now. If I faced it the other way, entrance would be facing north. Now there is a slope right here. Going up that way is a little bit of a slope and stuff like that, but I don't want the wind blowing out of the north blowing in my hives there, so they're facing south. That's the reason I chose to do that. Let me show you how my first setup's going to be on them. I got a telescoping cover here. That's what I'm running right now on them. I've got this medium box here that I'm just setting on top of the inner cover. I don't have it with me, but I've got a jar that I found, a big old squat, real short squat jar that holds a half a gallon with a good solid lid. I'll show that later. I just bought them and I hadn't drilled holes in the lid or anything, but I'm going to set that right on top of this inner cover where the cluster can get right to it. The only thing better than that, if you did do it, and I don't want to do it for, I got my reasons and I'm going to tell them now, but if you put feed right on top of the frames is pretty good too. But I don't want the bees to be able to come up in this area. I've seen it happen before. A neighbor of mine had bees, and I got some bees from a neighbor of mine one time, and they'd just put the feed on and put a box over it like this and stuff, and then they just quit messing with the bees, and I ended up getting them bees from them, and they had the comb. This was full of comb all built in there, stuck to the top cover up here. I don't want the bees up in this area, so I've got a lid that's big enough to cover that so they can just get right in there and feed. I hadn't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's big enough. But if it's not big enough, if you say you had a littler lid, you just put something over that, some tape or something over that so they can't get, or screen or whatever you want to do so they can't get in this area and can't build comb up in here. Got an inner cover, and then these frames, and I got brand new frames with waxed foundation. These got heavy wax on them. I've went with the black for a few years most of the time because I can see the eggs in there pretty good. I've done foundationless and different stuff too. I'm not saying I always do this, but get good straight combs to start with is what I want to do. And of course, I don't know if you can see down in there, it's got a solid bottom board. That's what I've been transitioning over to a little bit. I'm not saying I'll never use a screen bottom board again, but it seemed like the screen bottom boards didn't hold up too good either. Like, it didn't take long for them things to rot or mess up and have to be replaced one way or the other, whereas the solids seem to just keep going. So that's what we got, and the other hive is a mirror image of this as far as the way it's set up. And you know, for now, that's how we're gonna have. Now, one more thing here. Got this entrance up here, a top entrance that you can have for your bees later on for a little bit of ventilation, or a top entrance. I'll probably just take a little wedge of wood and just put right in there and seal that up before I get the bees in. I'm just setting this up. The bees are not coming for a few more days, but I'll probably just stop that up where bees can't be coming from the outside getting in here. I don't want bees from other colonies come in here and get in. Mostly they can't get to the sugar because it'd be up here. It probably wouldn't even matter, but I'll probably just close that off for now too. I don't know, I'll decide on it. I may just leave it open for ventilation. We'll see. I'll have to think about that part, but both the hives are set up like that. I've got them level side to side in case I ever do put foundationless in there. I do that sometimes. Once I get good straight combs drawn out and I'm starting to replace my wax, sometimes I'll checkerboard it. I'll put empty frames and let them just draw their own comb, and but they'll kind of stay straight because they're between two good straight combs. But right now I'm not even worried about that. I may bring a brick or a rock or something and lay on top of these down here. I've got this hive stand fixed where I can strap them on there. 10 frames, just the perfect size right there, just a strap. I've strapped hives on there too before. It's got a board over here the same. But a lot of times I just lay a brick or something up there. But the thing about the electric fence, I've had bees before and I've had bears get into them. We don't have as many bears around here as we used to. Where I lived before and kept bees, we had a place that was thick with bears. You couldn't leave trash out even one night, or any kind of food out, or you couldn't have bees without putting a fence. They absolutely couldn't have them. I mean, they were just going to get tipped over. And any kind of thing like that was going to get tipped over by the bears unless you had it in a shed or a fence around it. So I'm just going ahead and putting me a fence around here right now, because even though, you know, a lot of people around here do have bees without fences, I've seen bees about ruin me in one night before I got wise on the fences. Did I say bees about ruined me? Bears about ruined me in one night. What I meant to say. So anyway, and this hive stand too, one more thing here. I'm kind of up in the air about this. This height right here, now I've not measured it, but you know, it's over a foot. I'm not sure on the skunks messing with these, if they, you know, if they're tall enough to tip up there and get. So we'll have to see on that if I think skunks is messing with them. And maybe do something about that if I think they are, because that's another thing you got to watch out for with hives, is keeping them up out of the way of skunks. Right now I'm not going to worry about that until I see. I had bees on that kind of hive stand before, this same hive stand, and really didn't have much skunk trouble with them as far as I could tell. So anyway, I was just showing what I'm doing. Fixing to start hammering in some of these posts and get a fence put up. But I'll be following the bee stuff all along. For some reason I had to put a little shim on this one. It was tipping. It's sealing pretty good around here and stuff, but it looks up right there, but it's not. It looks that way. But I'll make that look a little bit better later on. I might bring a saw or something down here and saw it off right there or something. I just whittled that out with my knife. I had a board and I just batoned that out and whittled it off with my knife, and you know, just flattened it to what I needed. And I'll fix that a little bit better later so it looks better. But there you have it. Hope you enjoy the video. And I'll be making more about bees whenever I get bees, or if I catch a swarm, or whenever I'm doing anything else that I think would be of interest.